But the part that was frustrating about this game for me, Ryan, is Charlie Coyle got a chance to get some run with the top line. And you thought if there was ever a chance for him to break out and get on track a bit, he's had sort of middling wingers and a revolving door of wingers this season. All right, now you get to play with David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand. And he kind of sucked. He did not have a good game. So I'm curious to ask you, when we've talked about this way more than we should, but what's wrong with Charlie Coyle?
Well, I don't know that we have talked about it way more than we should because he keeps giving us reason to talk about it.
That's a great point.
I think his play last year had got him enough runway with the benefit of the doubt that we keep waiting for him to turn it around. He still just can't do it. And I still have a feeling, like I said before, that come playoff time, he might find a way to kick it into gear, but it's just, I don't know, it's just not there. And I do think that even if you're going to go up and play with good players, if you've been in this kind of a funk this long, that even that isn't necessarily always going to be enough to drag you out of it. Or you do certainly hope he would have seized that opportunity, but it's just, something's not there. I don't know what's going on. Our pal Andrew Johnson has said before, even on this show, that he thinks that Coyle's hurt. I would buy that. It might not be the case. I feel like he's not necessarily moving any different than he usually is. It's just he's not nearly as effective. So I don't know. Yeah, it wouldn't be a shock for something to come out that he's at the end of the year that he's been dealing with something. But it's just also just could be one of those years where he just he's in a bit of a rut, and you hope that it isn't a sign of him falling off a cliff, because you got a lot of years left on a pretty big contract here.
Yeah, he sort of had an interesting career from a points perspective, where last year with the Bruins getting up to 16 goals in 70 games was his best in a few years. And he sort of had some up years and some down years as well along the way. Likewise, his sort of possession numbers sort of go up and they go down. There's not a lot of consistency. I was looking back at some comments about Coyle from Minnesota Wild fans and Minnesota Wild media, and it sounds like he was also a maddening figure there in the same way, where he'd show these, I believe the line was that he has all of the makings of just a really top flight forward with some power forward potential. He skates well, he handles the puck well, he shoots well, he has hockey sense, but he never quite puts it together. And then he goes into these funks that are just really bad. Actually, Andrew Johnson and I were at Just Why, with many Ys, on Twitter. A good follow, definitely an avid poster with lots of fun thoughts. We were talking a little about this last night, and one of the things I was thinking is, if you think about what makes Coyle successful, if we think about his play in the bubble last year, which by all accounts was a good effort, he gets the puck down low, he uses his body and his sort of lateral skating mobility to protect it, to create opportunities for his line mates to distribute, to go to the net hard. And this season, it seems like he just wants to go one-on-one off the rush, and you rarely see him really handling the puck down in the offensive zone and kind of waiting and controlling it. It's just trying to make a quick, cute play and it's over. And I don't think that he's been playing the way that makes him effective. And I think he sort of lost his identity of what makes him a good player, which isn't to say that he's needs to be a power forward, but he needs to have some of that machinations of that style of play, dominating down low, using his frame, using his skating, and using his puck handling. And instead he's trying to be cute and a finesse player and be David Pastrnak off the rush. And he's not David Pastrnak. He needs to be Charlie Coyle.
It's kind of interesting too that I'm realizing, and I could be entirely wrong here, and I missed it or I'm not recalling, but you've heard Cassidy call out some particular players this year.
I was just about to ask you that.
Pastrnak and some of these guys that aren't living up to what they should be doing, and I can't recall him saying a word about Coyle at any point, and he's been one of their most consistently disappointing players. So that also maybe leads me to believe that there's something going on there that's not necessarily on him, but we've seen him use that tactic with a lot of guys by name, and Coyle doesn't seem to be one of them, unless I'm just not recalling that.
No, I was thinking the same exact thing, and I was about to ask you that about Cassidy, who's a guy who likes to hold players accountable, both behind closed doors and also isn't afraid to do so in the media and publicly. And Coyle's felt like he's skated through this. He's talked numerous times about guys needing to get to the middle of the ice, guys need to be harder on the puck, which seems like Coyle's issues, and he hasn't mentioned him. So maybe there is more going on there than we know, and maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. But I do wonder about that and why Cassidy hasn't been harder on him. So maybe we're being overly hard on him, and his performance is good considering whatever is going on. But it's really not helped the Bruins, who essentially went out and got Craig Smith to give him a line mate, and he sewered the first part of Craig Smith's season with how bad he played. And you see, once Smith gets another center, he's all of a sudden his numbers are starting to show back up, and his impact is starting to show back up. So I do feel like to some degree, I think there's other parts of the team that matter. But to some degree, how Charlie Coyle responds down the stretch and in the playoffs could have an outsized impact on the Bruins' ability to succeed this year. That's just my feeling on it.